The Republican-controlled House of Representatives tabled an attempt to impeach President Trump today after a Texas congressman forced a vote. Democratic Representative Al Green introduced 2 articles of impeachment against the president today.
Impeaching Donald John Trump, President of the United States, of high misdemeanors. Resolved that Donald John Trump, President of the United States, is unfit to be president and is impeached for high misdemeanors.
Now, let's be clear. Lawmakers did not actually vote on the actual articles of impeachment, but on a procedural measure that would have led to a vote on them. I'm joined by Professor Allan Lichtman from American University. Professor Lichtman, you've correctly predicted how many of the past presidents, candidates who've won, become president?
9 in a row since 1984.
9 in a row.
Since before you were born.
Yes, yeah, right. How do you do that? Let's start with that. How do you do that?
I have a formula called the keys to the White House, which ignores the pundits, forgets the polls, doesn't look at the day-to-day events of the campaign, but rather gauges whether or not the American people are ready to give the party holding the White House 4 more years. And my system, which looks at the strength and performance of the White House party, showed me that this was going to be a change election, irrespective of the Democratic and Republican candidates.
Okay, so you predicted Donald Trump was going to win.
Yeah, it didn't make me too popular around here.
Okay, there's a lot of blue area around here. Okay,
yeah.
You've got another prediction you're making about
right.
the incumbent president, and it is what?
I made it at the same time, and it was that Donald Trump would not serve out his 4 years, but would be impeached.
Where do you get that from?
I don't have a formula because there haven't been enough impeachments, but I got it from a study of the history of impeachment, the process of impeachment, and the whole history of Donald Trump, flouting the law, looking only to himself, having no public service, repeatedly lying about very important things. This was even before he became president and before we had the Mueller investigation, the congressional investigations, or any of the revelations of recent months.
Well, based on what you've seen thus far, I mean, do you feel as though you're being validated? I mean, here we go, or has anything surprised you that might change your opinion?
Well, I wrote my book, The Case for Impeachment, back in April, and updates coming out in January, and virtually everything I talked about is now coming to pass. I have no doubt that the Mueller investigation, forget the word collusion, is going to reveal a conspiracy between Trump and his team and the Russians to get Trump elected, and already, based on simply what is publicly known, there is a very strong case for obstruction of justice. Bill Clinton was impeached with all but 12 Republicans voting for it for obstruction of justice. Richard Nixon had the House Judiciary Committee vote an article against him on obstruction of justice. Of course, he resigned before he would certainly have been impeached. So there's real precedent for this.
Yeah. Do you just do presidents? What about races for the Senate? What about Roy Moore in Alabama? What do you think is going to happen?
You know, I only do presidents, but I think it's a shameful point that our country has come down to this, that there is a possibility of someone very credibly accused of molesting and assaulting children could be elected as a representative of the party of family values and morality to the Senate.
Does Roy Moore win?
I don't know, to be honest with you. My system doesn't apply to Senate races.
Okay. Back in a minute.